So our focus for this particular tutorial will be on simplification of equation. How do we simplify an equation? You know, we have different equations. We have the linear equation, and we also have quadratic equation. We have polynomials and others. So um, how do we simplify an equation? So equation can be simplified in various ways depending on the nature of the equation given. So there are different methods of simplifying an equation. So let's go through them one after the other. So for example, if we have x minus 2, so this is an expression, it is not an equation. It will be an equation when it is equal to a number. If I say x minus 2 equal to, let's say, 5. So this is now an equation. X minus 2 is equal to 5. It is now an equation because there is an equality sign and it is a statement. So this is trying to tell you that x minus a number will give you 5. The question is, which number is this? X minus a number will give you 5. So if you think about that number, you know that 7 minus 2 will give you 5. If x is 7, if x is 7 minus 2 will give you 5. But how do you get this 7? That is the question. How do you arrive and know that x will be 7? So that is why I say it have different stages and different form and rules. So here, for you to be able to solve this particular equation, you have to take note of this sign, of the signs involved. So we have x minus 2 is equal to 5. So the first thing you have to do is to transpose 2 to the other side. Take 2 to the other side. That is having constant remaining on one side and variable remaining on the other side, like collecting like time. So bring 2 to this side. You have to take note of the sign. Here we have minus 2. So when it is crossing an equality sign, the sign will change to plus. So this will be x is equal to 5. So because 2 is now crossing, the sign will change. It will be plus 2. So 5 plus 2 will be equal to 7. So that means that x is 7. So 7 minus 2 is definitely 5. To check whether the equation is true, so if x is 7 minus 2, it will be equal to 5. Then 7 minus 2 is 5, which means that the equation is true. 5 is equal to 5. It has balance on the both sides. So again, what if you have 3? What if you have x plus 3, x plus 3 is equal to 15? So basically this is telling you that x plus a number will, x plus 3 will give you will give you 15. So again, how do you solve it? Is by taking the constant time to one side. So you have x will be equal to 15 because 3 is crossing and here 3 is plus, so the sign will definitely change. Take note of the sign. It will change to minus 3. So that will be 15 minus 3 will give you 12. So this is simple linear equation. So what if you have 5x plus 5 is equal to 30? 5x plus 5 is equal to 30. So how do you go about calculating this? Again, take note of the step. Here we have 5x, meaning that x is being multiplied by a number 5. So you have 5x is equal to 30. You take 5 to the other side, this 5, and you take note of the sign. It will change to minus 5. Then this one will be 5x is equal to 30 minus 5 will give you 25. Then how now do you solve it from here? We have 5x is equal to 25. Of course, the only way you can solve this and leave x, because you're interested in calculating for x, so you have to divide both sides by the coefficient of x, and the coefficient of x here is 5, so you have to divide both sides by 5, divide here by 5, and also divide here by 5. So this will cancel this, and then x is equal to 25 divided by 5. So 25 divided by 5 will give you 5. That is it for this. Again, what if you have x squared is equal to 4. So how do you solve this? This is very, very interesting. X squared is equal to 4. So remember when we were solving as it's related to plus and minus, so when it is plus, if it is going to the other side, it changes to minus, and when it is minus, if it is crossing to the other side, it changes to plus. But in this case, we are having x squared is equal to 4. Then how do you solve it? The only way you can solve this is by taking the square root of both sides. Take the square root of both sides. So remember, in our last example we had 5x is equal to 25. So, and because we want to calculate for x, we have to divide both sides by 5 so that 5 can cancel 5. So the same thing applies here. If you want to calculate for x having a square, the only thing that can cancel this square is square root. If you take the square root of both sides, remember here you divided both sides by 5, so square cancels root, so that is why you have to divide both sides by square root. So this will be, the square will cancel the root here, so it will be, you will be left with x is equal to, now the square root of 4 will give you 2. But whenever you take the square root of a number, you always have two solutions, plus or minus. So the answer is plus or minus 2. Again, let's say you have this expression. X squared plus 3 is equal to 12. So how do you solve it? You are going to solve it by first collecting like terms. 3 will come to this side, and this will be x squared. So you will be having x squared is equal to 12. So remember, 3 is crossing, so it will be minus 3 because the sign has to change. So this will be x squared is equal to 9. So but you are not calculating for x squared now. You want to calculate for x, not x squared. So how do you get rid of x squared? Is by taking the square root of both sides. Remember that square root always cancels square, so they cancels each other. Square root always cancels root, so always cancel square. So this will be the square root of x squared divided by the square root of 9. So square will cancel this root, then you'll be left with x is equal to the square root of 9. So the square root of 9 is 3. So but whenever you take the square root, you have two solutions, is either plus 3 or minus 3. So if you take square root, you have two solutions, plus or minus. So that is it for this. Again, what about this particular solution? How do we solve this particular solution? How do we solve this one? We have 2x squared minus 1 is equal to 7. 2x squared minus 1 is equal to 7. So If you're familiar with the steps we took earlier, it's very simple. First, you collect like terms. That is by taking 1 to the other side. You have 2x squared is equal to 7 plus 1. This is because here it was minus 1, and then when you transpose it, the sign will also change to plus. So that is why we have 7 plus 1. So that will give you 2x squared is equal to 8. So you are calculating for x, so you have to divide both sides by 2 so that x will be alone. So if you divide both sides by 2, 2 cancel 2 here, and then you have x squared is equal to 8 divided by 2 will give you 4. So because you are calculating for x, not x squared, you have to take the square root of both sides so that square can cancel the root and your x will be on its own. So this will be the square root of x squared divided by the square root of 4. So your square will cancel the root. So your x will be alone, which is equal to the square root of 4 is 2. But don't forget, whenever you take the square root of a number, you will always have 2 solutions. It's either the answer is in plus or the answer is in minus. That is plus or minus. So plus or minus means that x is equal to 2 or x is equal to minus 2. So that is why they say plus or minus. That is the 2 solution. One is for plus 2 and then the other is for minus 2. So this is how you simplify equation. You can see that they have certain rules. Whenever it is x squared, you have to take note of that. You have to take the square root of both sides. So there are different rules applied to it. So this is all I have for you at this moment. So thank you for joining. See you another time.